Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kuanzia mwanzo Bwana Spika, ni dhahiri shahiri ya kwamba tunachoangazia ni ikiwa kulikuwa na idadi tosha ya inayotakikana kumtimua gavana. Bwana Spika, inayohitajika kulingana na sheria ni dhurudhi mbili ambayo ilipaswa izingatiwe. Lakini Bwana Spika, kwa sababu tunajua kwamba sheria za Kenya, sheria hii ambayo inayonukuliwa ya kusema ya kwamba tunahitaji thuruthi mbili ni sehemu ya 33 ya sheria ya serikali ya county, Bwana Spika. Lakini Bwana Spika, vile vile hata ijapokuwa kwa tukiangazia hayo na vile kumesemekana ya kwamba haki ni mpaka ifuatwe, Bwana Spika, katiba ya Kenya katika kipengee cha 159(2)(d) kinasema ya kwamba haki itolewe bila kujali mno taratibu za kiufundi. Bwana Spika, vile ambavyo tungelitaka hata ijapokuwa Bwana Spika tunazingatia idadi, na tukiangalia vile ambavyo sheria ziko Bwana Spika, hii ni sehemu tu ya sheria za county Bwana Spika, na vile ambavyo katiba ya Kenya inasema ni ya kwamba tusifuatilie mno Bwana Spika taratibu za kiufundi Bwana Spika, na kwa sababu katiba ndiyo sheria ambayo inapaswa kufuata, sheria zile zingine zote zifuatwe, ni sisi hapa tuangazie Bwana Spika ya kwamba haki itendeke, na si haki kutendeka, haki inapaswa kuonekana ikitendeka Bwana Spika. Nimeketi hapa katika seneti hii tulipokuwa tukiangazia Bwana Spika hizi wakati kaunti ya Nyamira walikuwa na vikao katika sehemu tofauti Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo mimi ningelitaka ya kwamba sio tu tufanye mambo hapa tukifuatilia vile ambavyo nimesikia ndugu zangu wakisema tukifuatilia ndiyo sheria, tunafuata sheria Bwana Spika, lakini haki inapaswa kuonekana ikitendeka kwa watu wote wa Nyamira Bwana Spika. Na Bwana Spika, mwongozo wetu kama seneti, mwongozo wetu kama maseneta, mwongozo wetu kama nchi ni katiba ya Kenya Bwana Spika. Na katiba nimeinukuu vizuri katika kile kipengee cha 159. Nasikia kiongozi wengi anauliza nimenukuu wapi, na nataka kumwambia kwamba haki itolewe bila kujali mno taratibu za kiufundi. Nashukuru Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii, na ningewarai wenzangu Bwana Spika wafuatilie ndio haki iweze kutendeka. Haki kwa Nyamira ni haki kwa Laikipia. Haki kwa Nyamira ni haki kwa Kericho Bwana Spika. Tulifanya hayo mambo hapa kwa Kericho, tukangoja Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo hata siku ya leo tutafanya hiyo haki, na sio kufanya haki. Haki inapaswa kuonekana ikitendeka kwa Wakenya wote. Nashukuru Bwana Spika.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the maxim of equity also say he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Mr. Speaker, the fact that there was Kericho 1 and Kericho 2, that was enough to send a message. It is a matter of public notoriety that the threshold is known. It is 2/3, and the calculations were then done, even with experts, and that matter has been settled. Mr. Speaker, when in the same matter in the national election, you say that the presidential elections are 50+1. There is no way you will come up with any other situation. If in a presidential election there is no one who garners 50+1, then there will be a rerun. And therefore, in this particular case, we should adhere to the law, 2/3. If there is no 2/3, Mr. Speaker, there is no case before the Senate. And I think this should go to every county assembly so that they will be very careful the moment they are not garnering 2/3, that they know they have no business coming to the Senate, because the law is very clear. Mr. Speaker, there is also the issue of standing orders of the county. Mr. Speaker, all the law in the country follows the Constitution, then it follows statutes, and then whatever is made under the standing orders must conform with those two, Mr. Speaker. So you cannot have standing orders which allow a delegation of a further delegation, because delegated power, you see, the assembly exercises delegated power of the people, and a person whose power has been delegated to cannot delegate further, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, it is better that every now county assembly in the country learns this, because impeachments have no time limitation. You can even impeach even 1 week to the general elections. And there is always an opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to come back again for the county assembly. And we have seen Kericho 1 and Kericho 2. And the most important thing, Mr. Speaker, in these circumstances is to follow the law, and then all of us are equal before the law, and then do the right thing so that we can save the Senate's time and also the Assembly's time. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Karungo Watangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, before I became a senator, I used to follow the proceedings of this House. And one senator for Siaya then, James Orengo, said that impeachment is a political process. And I think so many people took him seriously. And you can even hear from Senator Cherargei, they still believe impeachment is a political process. But Mr. Speaker, I say the mandate to impeach is sacred. It's not political. It cannot be used to be a political weapon or try to intimidate or to coerce, Mr. Speaker. That's why this House must follow the law. And we must follow the law from the beginning, Mr. Speaker. Because we have heard here, even from the Leader of Majority, it has happened before. We had governors who were impeached by the Senate, yet there was no threshold at their county assemblies when they were impeached. That is the governor of Kiambu, Governor Waititu, the governor of Nairobi, Governor Sonko. We have had 2 cases of governor of Kericho, who is currently sitting. In Meru, we also had almost something similar to that, and this one, Mr. Speaker. So we should use this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to ask ourselves, now that we have seen there are rogue speakers out there in the county assemblies, do we enhance our standing orders to make sure that the speakers must stand here even before the governors stand to take an oath and say, yes, I'm here and I brought these numbers, and they can be held personally liable, Mr. Speaker? Because we do not have to agree with anything that comes from the speakers from the county assembly if we are not given an opportunity to scrutinize, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, should we also ask that we be having Hansard live footage and coverage when these impeachments are going through? Mr. Speaker, should we be asking for signed confirmations by the MCAs who have impeached someone? Today here, and I will demonstrate that today, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to voting, by not voting through the processes, to show that I'll be called over there to go sign somewhere to show how I voted. Can't we ask the members of the county assemblies, when the impeachments come, they should sign somewhere, I voted this way, so that, Mr. Speaker, we do not eject governors because someone somewhere played politics, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, so when I listen to this motion, I ask myself, do I proceed with this motion as it is? Do I proceed with the impeachment of these governors, of the governor of Nyamira as it is, Mr. Speaker? That is a question I'll be answering at the end. But again, Mr. Speaker, we have had some governors are sponsoring their own impeachments so that they can garner sympathy from their people, Mr. Speaker. Sometimes they coerce with the speakers, take no numbers in there so that I can be kicked away home. And I'll say, the Senate saved me, Mr. Speaker. So again, I ask myself, if I send them home, was it the case that the governor of Nyamira probably sponsored it? Because I saw him the other day, saying that we have joined broad-based, trying to coerce this Senate, that, Mr. Speaker, I'm now in the side of the government, so I know when I go to the Senate, I'm going to be sent back home. So I'm asking myself those questions here today, Mr. Speaker. So the best thing is to go full throttle, Mr. Speaker. Let's listen, so that we can also take this opportunity. I have never met the governor of Nyamira. Let me see him today speak here. Let's ask those questions the people or the MCAs are asking, Mr. Speaker. But again, that is something I'm thinking about. I might be persuaded when we are done with the debate on this issue, Mr. Speaker. But what I would want to urge this Senate, let us withhold, let us follow the rule of the law when it comes to this process, because going forward, we could become governors, and we wouldn't want, Mr. Speaker, to be brought here by a speaker probably who wants to overthrow a governor. And Mr. Speaker, the law is very clear. It says once an impeachment is processed at the county assembly, the Speaker of the county assembly shall write to the Speaker of the Senate. Mr. Speaker, if you look at that, the wording of that, any speaker can go to any lodging, can go to any room, and just write that to the Speaker, either without the processes being followed, just himself, Mr. Speaker. So does that mean that anything the Speaker brings is gospel truth, that we can just process it without asking how they attained to that point, Mr. Speaker? So as I stand, Mr. Speaker, I'm thinking on how to vote, and you will call me there, and I will demonstrate how it's done, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, indeed, I want to support the comments in your ruling that indeed, looking at the circumstances of this matter and also looking at the Constitution, the threshold of 24 was not met. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the Constitution, Article 97, which talks about the membership of the National Assembly, and also Article 98 that talks about membership of the Senate, it gives you it implies that the Senate and the National Assembly, their membership is defined in the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, Article 177 that talks about membership of the County Assembly also implies the same. So you cannot say, Mr. Speaker, and I want to agree with the other members, that the membership of the Assembly is a moving target. It can never be a moving target. But Mr. Speaker, that aside, I see there is a problem, Mr. Speaker, with this motion. And what I see is that at lunchtime, I listened to these members, and the mood was that the members wanted this matter to go to full hearing, so that we process the PO in the full case. But now the motion has designed, it is not giving us that option. It is either we agree to the PO or we reject it. Mr. Speaker, we have a danger here, because if this motion is passed as it is, it means now we go to full hearing. And in the full hearing, the matters that will arise, if they are substantial enough to compel this House to impeach the governor, then we will have a problem legally, Mr. Speaker. But at the same time, Mr. Speaker, if we process this matter as it is now and say yes, then it means we'll be debating, we'll be moving away from what we had improved on Kericho 1, which is called Kericho 2. So, Mr. Speaker, my wisdom tells me that we withdraw this motion or amend this motion so that to allow the members to make a decision whether they want to process the PO at this point, they go the Kericho 1, or they want to go Kericho 2. Because if we allow this motion as it is, and the vote is taken and is a no, Mr. Speaker, we will be creating a precedent which will be very difficult to heal. So I suggest, Mr. Speaker, that this motion be withdrawn or be amended so that to reflect what I know members are thinking about. Mr. Speaker, nevertheless, I support.
Senator Wafula.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa nafasi hii. Vile vile kushukuru walio wengi katika bunge kunipa nafasi kuongoza kitengo hiki. Lakini vile vile ni kusema kwamba Mheshimiwa Spika, katika kesi ya mwewe na kuku lazima haki iwepo. Unapomnyorosha mwewe atoroke, kuku lazima ukabiliane naye. Mbona alijisalimisha kwa mwewe, Mheshimiwa Spika? Mheshimiwa Spika, Wakenya wanatazama. Katika kesi ya Kericho tuliona wanateknolojia wa kompyuta na simu za rununu wakitueleza kule walikokuwa wapiga kura. Na pale maji yalipozidi unga, Mheshimiwa Spika, tukang'amua kwamba kulikuwa na utapeli wa hali fulani, na wajumbe hawa wakachukua msimamo. Na baada ya kuchukua msimamo, Mheshimiwa Spika, bunge hili halikutoa mwelekeo kwa wale ambao walikuwa wanapotosha umma kwa stakabadhi gushi. Jumba hili lisiwe eneo la kutumbuiza Wakenya, Mheshimiwa Spika. Watu wameleta stakabadhi hapa, gavana nashukuru uko hapa, viongozi wa kaunti wako hapa. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi ni kuomba wote walioleta stakabadhi na kukiri walihusika wapewe nafasi wajisulubishe ama wajidinginize wenyewe. Na iwapo yeyote atapatikana kwamba anahadaa bunge la Senate kwa kusema kwamba alipiga kura na alikuwa ng'ambo, hata ninashangaa Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna wale hawajakuwa bunge miaka miwili na wamepiga kura. Lazima waletwe hapa, Mheshimiwa Kenya, waone hawa viongozi gushi ambao ni mashahidi bandia, kesi bandia, ili gavana pia jitetee akitoka hapa awe huru na huru kabisa. Na wale ambao watakabidhiwa na mashtaka pia wakabiliwe na mkono mkali wa sheria. Sasa hapa mimi sijui mbona watu wanaogopa kwamba tukienda kusikiza kesi hati gavana wangu huyu tayari kamba iko shingoni yake amekwisha. Hapana. Na sio kwamba tukiwapa hawa nafasi ni kwamba ni kama Muhammad Ali watakabiliana na gavana kabla hajang'amua chochote atakuwa chini. Hapana. Ni kusema kwamba mchakato mzima uendelee. Tuone wale walio ukweli na wale waongo, na Senate ichukue msimamo ambao utaboresha usimamizi wa kaunti zetu. Sasa mimi naomba maseneta ambao tuko hapa, ni kama ule mchezo ambao mtu amepewa, ni mchezo wa Man U na Arsenal. Umefanya mazoezi muda mrefu, wakati mchezo unataka kuanza mtu anasema viatu havipo, kanuni hazikubali kwamba tucheze miguu bila viatu. Huu muda wote ulikuwa wapi kusema kununua viatu kuja uwanjani? Hawa wamejipanga. Sisi kama mashabiki.
What is the point of order, Senator Fomero?
La Senate 105.
Take your seat, Senator Wafula.
Nataka Senator Wafula ambayo tumekabidhi uongozi jana kwa kiranja mkuu walio wengi hapa Senate. Ametaja timu ya Arsenal ya kwamba wanafika kiwanjani wanasema hawana viatu. Mimi nimefuata timu ya Arsenal kwa muda mrefu sana, Bwana Speaker. Na sijaipata hiyo siku ama nafasi kuwaona ati Arsenal walifika kwa kiwanja wakaanza kusema wachezi. Kwa hivyo lazima akipeana mifano yake apeane mifano halali na mifano ambayo anaweza dhibitisha. Na timu yake sijui ni gani, sijui nasikia ni hii gani ya mwisho hii. Hii ndio. So bwana Speaker, lazima awe na ile tunaita kwa Kiingereza statement of fact. Sababu kutaza timu kubwa ya Arsenal kwa kejeli hairuhusiwi kabisa.
Order, honorable senators. Nafikiri Senator wa Bungoma alikuwa anapeana tu mfano.
Mheshimiwa
Speaker, naye hoja, tumwache amalize hoja yake tafadhali.
Nadhani kuna utapiamlo wa kufuata umantiki wa hoja zangu, Mheshimiwa Speaker. Mimi ni kuomba tu viongozi wenzangu kwamba hawa wote wako huru kujieleza. Tayari tumeona pale palipo na shida, lakini tuwasikize. Mheshimiwa, Mheshimiwa Spika, nimekuwa mwanachama wa kamati ya ugatuzi. Donda sugu hili la hawa watu kutengana katika assembly ya county hii hatujajadili hapa, tumekuwa tunapakata tu. Najaribu kutumia lugha nadhifu kidogo. Leo wamekuja hapa tena, maseneta wanasema ati sheria haikubali, ati mkondo mfumo. Hapana Mheshimiwa Spika, tusiwe matapeli wa kisiasa. Leo wamejileta, tukabiliane na wao, wajieleze, tuwasikize, tuulize maswali, aliye na hatia akabidhiwe, lakini yeyote asiwe na wasiwasi. Hawa maseneta wana akili timamu, wamesoma, wanamcha Mungu na wanapenda haki. Mimi nawatakia kila laheri. Mheshimiwa Spika wenzangu, twende njia ya kusikiza kesi, na mimi naomba gavana usiwe na shida.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion. Mr. Speaker, I've never been clear on my mind on the direction that I want to take as much as I'm clear today. You know, you can never bend the truth, Mr. Speaker. I was listening to the legal counsel for the Assembly, where they made a case that 2/3 is defined as 2/3 of the members present. When I look at the law has never been bended to a point where it defines 2/3 as the members who are present. The law is quite clear. It talks about 2/3 of all the members of the Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I was listening, and this has to be the issue that we must determine. Because before, Mr. Speaker, in this very House, we determined what 2/3 means. And we all came up with a conclusion that 2/3 for a human being will be a whole number. So, Mr. Speaker, I've also listened to an argument made by the plaintiff or the county assembly that the Senate votes by proxy, and that could not be further from the truth. Mr. Speaker, the Senate does not vote by proxy. Neither do county assembly vote by proxy. If you read Article 123 of the Constitution, it is the only house which is defined that it votes by delegation. Even in this own decision that we are going to make here, we have got to decide based on delegation, 24 delegation. So when we keep on dilly-dallying on these matters, Mr. Speaker, we'll be making a joke or a mockery of this House. Mr. Speaker, there is nowhere in the Constitution of Kenya, or even the law which is now guiding this impeachment process, because I'm still of the view that Parliament has not yet acted on Article 181(2), on coming up with a legislation that defined the impeachment process. But if we say we limit ourselves to the issues of Section 33 of the County Governments Act, there is nowhere that says that as a member elected by the people of Narok County, I can delegate my vote to the people of Kericho to be able to vote on my behalf. It is absolutely not possible. We can dilly-dally, we can pussyfoot, but the fact is, when it comes to appeal, we have to put it into a legal test. And the question to ask is this: in Nyamira County, what is the number that defines 75% of all the members elected in Nyamira County? Mr. Speaker, I was very happy to hear my colleague talking about a constitutional, like a constitutional target. There's absolutely no way, a moving target. There's no way that we can say that 2/3 shall be defined as a moving target. It is something which is clearly set. One of the things that was a bit confusing to me, Mr. Speaker, is that in this own House, if you look at our standing orders, and I believe it is standing order number 7, that talks about the elections of the Speaker. It talks about a Speaker being elected by all senators. Now, the question to ask is, when we were electing our Speaker, were the nominated senators in or they were not in? And what was all senators? So, Mr. Speaker, I'm very clear on my mind that 2/3 is 24, and the county assembly and the county governor has all attested that the people who voted were 19. Because I'm not going to vote, and the number that they brought, the county assembly brought the number of 23. So whether you call it 2/3, using the numbers that you want to create of the people present, the law is quite clear and you cannot bend it. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, because I see that my light is up, I think we have to ask ourselves whether we want to remain as a house that plays around with the law, or we want to be able to become a house that sets the precedent and sends a clear message. And this clear message, Mr. Speaker, will finally be set when we pass a law in this house that sets the prerequisites of bringing an impeachment process into this house. It must be.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to oppose this motion, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in the Kericho 1 motion, in Kericho 1, Honorable Speaker, it was clear day and light. There were 47 MCS in the Kericho County Assembly, but those who voted were 31, and the threshold was supposed to be 32, Honorable Speaker. In Kericho 2, Honorable Speaker, we, in our own wisdom, which I still disagree, Honorable Speaker, that we decided to look for an expert. And when you look for an expert, I expected that when the expert gives an opinion, we'll go with the opinion of the expert and not subjecting the same opinion of expert to non-experts, who is ourselves senators, Honorable Speaker. I thought that is, I don't agree with that. Honorable Speaker, the 2010 Constitution, some of us opposed it, because we say there was 20% of that Constitution that required to be refined, and we have a referendum at a later date. But the country at that time said we move on, and we fought. And we fought, Honorable Speaker, knowing very well that there was a 20% of the Constitution that required some amendments. And 12 years or 14 years later on, Honorable Speaker, 15 years, we have not amended the Constitution. And there are some flaws in this particular Constitution. That's why I agree. When you check this particular county, Honorable Speaker, after election, there were 35 MCS. By the time the impeachment motion in Nyamira County, Honorable Speaker, there were only 32 MCS in that county assembly. So now the question that we need to look at, as we also look at the Constitution and look at the law that the JLAC have said they are brought to the House, Honorable Speaker, is what is the threshold? Is when we check between 32 and 35, the threshold on 32, Honorable Speaker, is 21.3. When you round it up, it's 22, Honorable Speaker. When you divide by 35, it is 23.3, which basically you round to 24. But we know very well, Honorable Speaker, that there were 3 vacancies during the time of voting when the County Assembly of Nyamira impeached the Governor of Nyamira, Honorable Speaker. So that's why I agree to some extent, until I'm convinced by the senior counsel, Gadwa Giken, that this is a moving target. Honorable Speaker, when we do our general elections, the presidential vote is 50+1. It is 50+1 of the cast vote. It is not on registered votes, Honorable Speaker. The registered votes in this particular case for Nyamira is 35 MCS. But those who, the positions that were filled at this particular time were 32, Honorable Speaker. So I want to convince my colleagues, or I get convinced, that maybe it is good to give them an opportunity, Honorable Speaker, that we go to full hearing, let them convince us that there was no threshold or there is no case. Otherwise, honorable members, it is good also to listen to these people. As the Senator Majority Leader has said that maybe we need to go back to the summit so that we can engage closely with our MCAs. Every 2 years or every 2 years or so, I think we've been having the Senate summit that we engage with the governors, but that's a governors issue, but we have never met. We are likely to go out of this house after 5 years and come back without even having an engagement with our MCAs so that we can see how, because we're the oversight. Assemblies are the ones who are oversighting the counties. But where are we meeting? We don't even engage at all, apart from maybe when they come to our committees for benchmarking. Honorable Speaker, I reserve my vote, but I want to say, I think we need an opportunity. We need to hear the full case, and then from there we can decide.
When I listened to the PO, I saw it as a straightforward case of 35 times 2/3. That's what I saw. And I was persuaded. However, both parties have invited me to want to hear more. Both the governor and the county assembly. What do I mean, Mr. Speaker? People watching me in Nyamira now want us to respond to the concerns by the county assembly. Nowhere in the jurisprudence of this country have we ever tested the issue of who is voting at the 2/3 majority. What do I mean? You all know, in this house, we have been voting with the threshold of 24, even when our brother, the late Cheptumo, was gone. Now, what has been brought by the county assembly, they are telling us, please remember there were 3 MCAs who are not in that county assembly. This is the time for us to prosecute that, and therefore we should give parties an opportunity to prosecute that matter. We see which way it should go, so that, colleagues, we guide county assemblies. We even guide this Senate, that what shall we be doing in the event members are not in plenary. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, again, parties have invited me on the issue of voting by proxy. You all speak good English. Voting proxy simply means a member of a team, like the one in the county assembly of Nyamira, asking another member to vote for him specifically in the same manner he would have voted. Let's not be emotional. Even in this house, we normally ask the leader of the delegation to tell the appointed the delegation to vote exactly in the manner the leader of that delegation would have voted. So we need again to hear submissions from both parties so that it would help us to know in future how shall we be handling this kind of issue. My final point, Mr. Speaker, again invited by both parties, is that they talked about letters. We didn't know letters were brought. This is the time for us to allow them to prosecute the matter, to show us these letters, just in the same way we did in Kericho 2, and those ones who thought this had not taken place, they were given an opportunity. Mr. Speaker, finally, but not least, the county assembly has come here for justice, looking for justice. So has the governor. It is therefore makes us stronger, more credible, more fatherly by hearing both. Let the PO be determined after we have heard the whole manenos the whole issues, then we make a decision. I want to defeat in my submission the points raised by the Senator of Kericho, leader of majority. It is bigger than what you think. Kericho 1 was straightforward, Kericho 2 was straightforward. This one, both parties are not in agreement. In Kericho 1, we all remember, both parties were in agreement about the number of MCAs who had participated. For your information, leader of the majority, if you go by the presentation by the governor, it means 23.3 people voted, which we round to 24. But if you go by the persuasive argument by the county assembly, it means in the absence of those three, only 21.3 people voted, rounding it